at Christmas, period. So if you're really very brilliant in class and you come first or second or third, you wait for your gift for at Christmas. It doesn't matter if you got that in January or you got it in March, or you just wait. It's just once in a year, beautiful celebration. And that is a time of gifting. Families, parents gift one another. And that was my memory of Christmas. It is still my memory of Christmas. The only thing that I miss is the dancing in the village and the hugging one another and eating all kinds of food, delicacies that families, cook and invite people to enjoy. So I miss that so much. But then I've grown. So there are other stuff that goes on during Christmas that I enjoy other than what I've just shared. And I also want to look at Christmas as we know, yeah, it's a time of celebration, it's time of sharing, it's a time of joy. But I also want us to look at it in this whole context of World of Women. Christmas is centered around mother and child. It's Jesus, it's Mary. Mary's, yes, was the center of the celebration. If the woman hadn't said, yes, let it be done according to your will, whatever that will is. And that's who we are as women. We are always open to whatever the word is asking of us. Let it be done according to your word. And that was how Jesus, our Savior, came to be born. I mean, I need to really applaud for women, because without women, our world will not exist. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the reality. And you guys will agree with me. That is the reality. Today, we know that Christmas is celebrated everywhere in the world, but not by everybody. And I have come to realize this as I traveled the world and lived in different parts of the world. People celebrate differently. People also, depending on their belief, celebrate different wonderful celebrations like Kwanzaa, like Hanukkah, which our brothers and sisters Jewish celebrate, which is beautiful. In all these celebrations, we might not actually celebrate or understand what people do, but one thing is clear. Families come together. And who is at the center of the family? The woman is there. The child is present to make it happen. Look at what is going on in our world today. It's all about Christmas celebration now, this season. And you see women at the center of it all, trying to wrap up stuff, struggling to make sure that the kids are taken care of, making sure that the grandpas and grandmas, what are we going to cook and what are we going to eat? And that is on top of their regular responsibility in the family. So that's an additional responsibility which women take in happily. I want us to think about it. I want us to reflect a bit about what all this means for us, for our family, for our friends. Now, I also know that there are people who are actually not celebrating Christmas. All this time of celebration, festivity is bringing them unease because of what has transpired in their own family, in their own life. Take, for example, there are people who are facing loneliness right now, people who have nobody to actually help them, support them, talk to them, people who are depressed. And women, like I said, take on a lot. And we see some of these burdens, not really, the minor say it that way, but a lot of responsibility triggers stuff in us. This time last year, we know what was going on in the United States and around the world. It was horrible with the death of from pandemic, COVID pandemic. A lot of lives were lost all over the world. People lost friends, families, relatives, and they still bear that pain. And each festive period reminds them of their loss. And I am aware of that. And I want us not to forget, because it is still part of our journey as human beings, that we are all together in this whole thing. But we should not forget that in every situation, we try to rise above it, especially the one that brings us challenge, triggers depression, triggers stress. We hold on to our faith, hold on to our family, friends. And the way we want to address that, especially this time, there are certain places in the United States and around the world that are still dealing with suicide. Those are some of the things that are not even talked about. And I was just talking to one of my friends, and he was saying to me, you know, COVID is not even the pandemic. There's an unseen pandemic right now around the world, and that's the social isolation. And I agree. So I am inviting women to think about this. Let's reflect and find ways that we can actually invite one another, be a source of comfort for one another, find ways to support us, find resources that really bring life and hope to us. And in turn, we'll share that with our families and our other friends. And I know for those of us who believe in that faith and know that God exists, praying, sharing with one another your faith is very critical at this time. Let us all be aware that we are our brothers and sisters' keeper, that we do and share whatever we know that will be supportive to one another. I know a couple of people who are going through domestic violence now. And what I have tried to do in order to reach out, I was looking for some homeless shelter, trying to find if there's community meals, you know, if there are any community support out there that they can take advantage of. And I'm inviting the rest of us to look around, to look into our community and see what is going on there this time that could really support us, support other people. And I know that all of us here, we are all in it, and we all know other resources that could be accessible to our neighbors, to our families. And for those who find it very difficult to celebrate this period, I understand. I can relate. And I want to say that you are all in my prayers at this critical and festive period, that life and death, joy and happiness, they are all part of our life. And that each one of them will have to hold with faith, with joy, in partnership with whoever that lives with us and whoever we relate with. So I am going to ask that each one of us feel free, share at your comfort level, what Christmas means for you. Culturally, traditionally, how have you celebrated Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah? What do you want to share with us that we can take away from this gathering this night? And thank you. And I'm actually waiting now and asking Emily to I don't know if there are people at the breakout room that you can let in, and let's all be the one spot here and share.
They should be coming back in a minute here.
All right, thank you. Okay, I see they are coming back. So I'm opening it up for us. Please feel free to share your experience of celebration, Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. And I know all of these celebrations center around family, Thanksgiving, and gratitude.
Who would like to start? Or do we need to pick somebody?
Sorry?
I am very sorry. I came in halfway throughout the question, so I hate to do this to you, but can you repeat the question, please, Ida?
Oh, yeah, I don't mind. I was saying that after sharing my little experience of what Christmas means to me, and I did mention that that could mean, you know, different things for different people. But, and we also not only celebrate Christmas, there are other people that also celebrate Kwanzaa and celebrate Hanukkah. So I'm like opening it up and inviting us to share, you know, what does that mean in your culture, your tradition? How have you celebrated? And what, you know, what do you want to share with us about it?
Well, I'm going to, I'll start, and I would like to say thank you again, Zita, for inviting me again this week. I had so much fun last week, and I wanted to get back in here and talk. Holidays for us, for my family, have always been about family, just getting together with family, extended family, or just our close knit, personal family. It's always been something that my brothers and mom and dad and the kids and the grandkids, we always try to get together around this time of year, just because it's, you can't take for granted that this might be one of the last ones you get to be together, especially with all the problems that are going on. And I heard you mention that. And so, we want to make sure that we stay together as close as possible. So family is one of the best things that, we get to do. And we don't really have a lot of traditions, except for we all get together to eat. And as I always tell people, I'm kind of a fat guy, so eating's not a problem for me at all. So.
Thank you so much, Zach, for sharing. We all love food. I think that's one of the best gifts God has given to us. Yeah, I enjoy food too.
Especially blueberry pie.
Who cooked that for you?
I don't know, but whoever really likes me does that. So,
No, when did you first eat that?
Oh, when did I first try? Oh, I can't even tell you when I first tried it, but I fell in love with it whenever I first tried it, so, but, I mean, if anybody ever wants to ship me one, I'll guarantee you it will not go to waste. So I promise you I will eat it. So
Okay, great, great. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else? Yeah, Hannah, you unmute yourself, please. Unmute. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want you to hear the background noise, but
That's okay.
wait a minute. Hold on. Do you hear the background noise? Hear any noise?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, we celebrated Hanukkah this year, and Milt's son and grandson came in from Texas. They live in Austin, and so they came in Thanksgiving, and we all celebrated Thanksgiving with my family. My daughter made Thanksgiving, and then right after Thanksgiving, the Sunday night was Hanukkah. So they stayed on to celebrate Hanukkah with us. And then we also celebrated Hanukkah with my rabbi and his family and friends. And it's funny, we ate Chinese food, and we had Chinese food.
I like that.
But we also had potato latkes. That's a tradition. So we had that. And so, yeah, family is the most important. And as far as Christmas, I always, I'm placing orders for fruit. So I bring fruit to my friends who are celebrating Christmas. So, I mean, I grew up in New York, in a suburb of New York called Laurelton, Queens. I grew up in Queens. And I just remember, all the kids playing outside. It was Christmas. And I remember my neighbors having relatives come in from different places. And that really made my day. I can still remember one of my neighbors had a relative. I think she was from not in the United States. And I always was so happy to see her. So when you said that, we're all, people come in, and so it was a very nice holiday. And I'm celebrating Christmas now with my friends.
Yeah, that's what life is about.
That's right.
It's so intriguing when you said, to me anyway, when you shared that you was celebrating Hanukkah and you ordered Chinese.
We had Chinese food.
Okay. Can you see how our world is becoming a village now? That we don't really, there's no barrier anymore,
Right.
about who we are and what we do and what we eat. And doesn't that say something about us and what the world is coming, challenging us and inviting us to do?
Yes.
So yeah, that's really heartening. Yes. I remember going to my one of my friends here, Julie. They are also Jewish, and her mom ordered ribs, and that was what we had. And I'm like, okay, so is ribs a part of the is ribs a part of the Hanukkah? But anyway, I'm so excited that we're all recognizing that, it's just our world is becoming a village, and the more open we are to it, the better for all of us.
Right.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. And I also want to say another thing. When I was in Israel a number of years ago, we went to Bethlehem, and I saw, where Christ was born and where he walked, and it just was very touching to me. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that. And it's just, I mean, we're all one. So I wanted to share.
When you talk about birthing, you know what that means? That is the process all of us sitting here went through. None of us that is here flew from wherever. That's how we all came to be.
That's right.
And how did that happen? It's through women. So the word of women is a beautiful word.
Yes.
It's the word of nurture, of love, of kindness, of sharing.
That's
I
right.
love the word of women.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're going to have to make that word the word for everybody,
Yes.
because that's where it's best to be, especially this time in our lifetime. The
Yeah.
word of women is the best place to be. Okay, the rest of the guys here,
Thank
would
you.
you agree with me? Speak up, please. If you're against what I'm saying, also speak up. You're
Yes.
free to say whatever. We live in America.
Absolutely. And my mom was special. She had a special journey on Christmas this year, 50 years ago, because I was born on Christmas Eve. So I always joke with people, telling everybody that, I was my mom's most painful Christmas gift ever. So, and especially since I was overdue by, I cooked for a little bit longer than I should have. So I was a brat back then and came into the world a little bit late. So
No, I think, Zach, thanks for coming at that time. I think you proved to the world that sometimes when we say, oh, this is the expected date of delivery, I always say to my women, listen, this baby's coming when they want to come, when they're ready. Don't really get hung up with this, because you might get disappointed. And sometimes they do, especially first-time mothers. They're like, they pack their stuff like 20 times before it's time to have the baby.
yeah.
So
And they first told my mom that I was due on Thanksgiving. So, she was thinking I was about a month late. So, which this is me. I could have been a month late. Now, I mean, honestly, I possibly could have been a month late. I can't get anywhere on time as it is. So,
well, here you are. And this is how far you've come. I think you're a normal baby that grew up to be a normal, wonderful adult. And we're glad to have you. All right. So who else want to share, please? Do we have hands raised? Yeah, Johannes?
I'll share. I think my story is slightly different from the norm. I grew up in a Catholic home, and Christmas time in Europe, cold and wet, and we were just very close together. There was nothing of the American, presents, big meals and all that. It was more about being together and celebrating just celebrating being together. That is my memory. When I was relatively young, I ended up moving to New Zealand, and Christmas was a shock because it was barbecues on the beach instead of snow and ice. And from that time on, Christmas meant nothing to me for a long time. And then coming here, people seem to be the people that I have associated with seem to focus so much on food and presents that I don't relate to that either. But for me, by now, to me, Christmas is a time of reflection, a time of going deep within, meditation time, get closer to God, because that is where all the answers lie for me. I don't need presents. I don't need a big meal. As a matter of fact, a big meal, 2 days later, you regret it. So, and I'm beyond that. To me, the being close to God is far more important by now. And Sita, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. Through my whole life, I have not really respected women the way I've been learning how to respect women the last couple of years through a brilliant teacher. She's taught me that there's a lot I don't know that I thought, as many men do, I thought I knew, but I had no idea. So thank you for being part of this. And I would just love to learn more what women are about and how I can respect them more and be a support. So thank you.
So much, Johannes, for sharing. And I really, really respect your honesty. And I must say that you have really turned 360 degrees, really, around. And really, I don't know how many people can do what you have already done, in that awareness and working on yourself. And honestly, majority of men are really good people. Majority are wonderful people. The problem is, and it's not a problem, ignorance is not really, they're not stupid. The thing is, a lot of men are raised in families, and this is from my culture. I don't know about American culture, but in my culture, men are born and they're being placed high up there. And they don't even allow them to be human beings. It's like they are born and they're like fathers and they're kings, and they're like, nobody gives them that basic fundamental training, home training to say, this is your mother, that's your sister, if you have a sister, or that's your brother, this is how life works. Nobody does that. And it baffles me that even now, some families, some women that I accompany in their prenatal visits and even childbirth and stuff, I still see that. And I'm like, this time, 21st century, this is still going on. So I think we have to blame our society as a whole and then challenge ourselves that it's my responsibility to really let women know who they are, reclaim who they are, and also nudge them to teach their family, to train their family, especially the boys. Honestly, if you train them, they listen. They do, because when we were growing up, my younger brother, Emmanuel, grew up under us, and I didn't care whether he was a boy or not. I was a rebel, really. And I'm like, you're going to have to listen to me. I'm older than you. Well, he did. And he turned out to be better than most men I know. So the thing is, it's family. And of course, my mom was that great pillar that stood her ground and said, you got to listen. You're a man, yes. They're women. You got to know where your position is and just play your part. We complement each other. This is what family is supposed to be. And that's what we should be training our kids. Our generation has to learn better, learn differently, if we're really going to live in a peaceful world. Thank you so much, Johannes, for that. Anyone else? Any questions? So I want to say also that for the new year, next week, we are having this preparation for Thanksgiving on Tuesday. So I'm inviting us to come back with our New Year resolutions, and let's just talk about it. And for the new year, beginning January, we have rolled out about 12 topics that we want to invite women to sign up for. I will be mailing that out, the email, and asking people to please sign up. Different roles, different professions, women in healthcare, women in spirituality and faith, women in entrepreneur, women in volunteer, and on all kinds of specialties, policy and politics. So please sign up. If you know someone who has that skill, please reach out to them on our behalf, have them sign up, and let's start the new year with a whole lot of more information, beneficial information that will help us individually, help us as family, and help us as a community and nation to live our lives better. So, Emily, are you gonna put up the website so I can read it out? That we have LinkedIn, we have YouTube connections. Emily, are you there?
Yeah, I can. The any questions can go to here is the
Yeah, so it's the TTPS www.youtube.com/watch. We'll also be putting that on the LinkedIn link and the Facebook link as well.
if anybody has any questions, they can email WOWPOD2021 @gmail. For anyone who has questions. And do you want me to put the LinkedIn and Facebook links in the chat too, or say them?
Yeah, you can put it out and we can also send it to people just to make sure that
Okay.
everyone gets it, and share it, please. As you know, this is our third podcast, and what we're trying to do is to help people to understand what we're about and invite them to join us, because I believe together we can make a change in our society. So if you know anyone that can really help us with resources, please send them my way, Emily's way. You can also put out my phone number. You got it?
Yes, I'll put your phone number too.
Okay. So while she's doing that, does anyone want to make a comment or? Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I would like to take a second, and Zita, I introduced you to a lovely lady who has joined my team. Her name is Leslie Bradshaw, and she is joining us from foreign lands, so which is really cool. She's in Trinidad right now, and Leslie has started Leslie is working hard to empower women. And I thought that she would be a beautiful, beautiful addition to what you do. So I would like to introduce you personally to Leslie. Leslie, this is our host, Zita. So can you just explain a little bit exactly what you do?
Yeah, Leslie, welcome, my dear. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah, I was just sitting quietly in the background. And
I know.
So basically, I am a life coach. I call myself a personal development and mindset coach. and I help women. I help to empower women to be able to make decisions that are best for themselves, as opposed to those decisions that are dictated by the court of public opinion. And we all know that court and loves to tell us that what we can and can't do as women, as mothers, as sisters, as wives, you know. So I teach them how to manage their thoughts and manage their emotions, and learn how to stop the overthinking process and the people pleasing process. Because, you know, as women, we are raised to be people pleasers, that everyone has to come before ourselves. And I want to give women the power back, give them back their own power, so that they can stand up for themselves and make decisions that are best for them and go after their dreams and goals. And when we stand up together as women, the world is just a better place. So.
Yes. Thank you so much, Leslie, for sharing. That's powerful. That is awesome. I'm proud of what you're doing in Trinidad, and
Thank you.
great you're here with us. And we're gonna connect more and do great things globally.
Awesome. I love it.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, globally. And I totally agree with you. Women, a lot are thrown women, and we take everything in as if we must, you know. It's like as if our life depends on it. And then what happens is we start getting overwhelmed. And how does that manifest? With all the temper tantrums and all the resentments. Before you know it, it's depression and all the then they will turn around and say, oh yeah, you're crazy. Who made you crazy in the first place? You know, but we still have to stand up and say no to some of this, you know. I mean, it's our birthright. We can say no when it's not convenient. We should, honestly, we should. And I know some of us don't know how to do it, because I can always tell you, oh yeah, you should do this and you should do that, until I find a way for you. The how is critical, you know, and that's what I'm doing in my ministry, trying to support women and to say, this is how you do it. I'm not just going to tell you, do this, do that, do that. No, I want to tell you how it is done. You know, so right from, you know, getting ready. Yeah, you want to have a family. How do you do that? You can't just get up and have a family. It has it can be detrimental, you know? So yeah, the how of life is very important. Thank you so much. And we'll stay in touch. What
Awesome.
time
Thank
is
you
it
for
in
having me.
Trinidad?
What time is it?
Yeah.
It's 9:48.
Oh, PM.
Yes.
Okay, it's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay, great.
And then
Great.
I'm going to kidnap your show one more time because my mom was able to show up.
Oh, great.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good. Glad to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you. Zach has said a whole lot about you, and I believe him. And I want to applaud you for all you have been doing. And you're going to really help us to learn more from you, because you have a lot to share with the world. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. No.
So tell them a little bit about what you've been doing for the last 30 years.
Well, for 25 years, actually 30, because we did this back when I was a little girl. We help families for Thanksgiving and Christmas, because those are the two most needed for most of the people. We gave out full turkey dinners that people would take home and cook themselves. And it included the turkeys, the potatoes, the onions, all the canned goods. And we attempted to get everybody a pie. So, but that ended up being a little more than what we expected. So, and for Christmas, we get each family the same turkey dinner again. But along with that, each child under the age of 16 gets a gift. So, and then there's families that need help during the rest of the year that we'll take them and help them to shop, and then we'll pay for their meal or whatever groceries that they have. So that's primarily what I do.
That's a lot. Honestly, that is a lot, because I know the stress that is involved in getting, around Christmas or around any celebration, the stress, the overwhelming that goes on. I watch people and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do they get all this done? You do a lot, and you've given a lot, and we need, to have you share so that the rest of us will know that women keeps giving. We are that gift that keeps giving.
That's right. We're like the ever ready battery.
I like that. Ever ready battery. That's cool.
Well, my mom and dad took care of foster children, and as I was growing up, and it taught all of us a little more about giving and loving and sharing what we have. And I remember as a little girl, my dad and mom didn't have much in the way of finances. So there was usually about 12 to 13 kids at the house. And one year my dad handed each one of us, one at a time, the Bible. He said, close your eyes, open the Bible, put your finger on a verse, and that's your verse from God. And mine was Psalms 100, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all you lands. So I remembered that. My sisters, they can tell you what their verse is also. And my youngest brother, he remembered the book, but he couldn't remember the verse. So one other Christmas that we had, we went to church on Christmas Eve, and one of the ladies asked one of my brothers what they were hoping for Christmas. And he answered, we weren't having Christmas this year because Dad hadn't got to work. So we all went home, we all went to bed. When we woke up the next morning, there was a Christmas tree, and there was food on the kitchen table for my mom to just sit down and fix the food. And it was the greatest Christmas because we had no idea that that was going to happen. Neither did my parents. So that's what I started with.
Yeah, that is awesome. And you have made it a tradition, and you did that for years. Yes. Trying to implement making a joyful noise unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
All that. You can't even imagine how many lives you've touched doing this. And folks, that's what our call is about. Make that joyful noise. However you're called to do it, do it. And women are called by nature to make that, to do that. We've got to reclaim who we are called to be. I keep saying that. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know how critical it is. It has been revealed to me, and my experience has proved to me that, yes, it got to take women to bring our world and make it a joyful one.
Oh, yes, I agree with you there. Besides doing the Christmas and Thanksgiving, Jerry and I have had a home for developmentally disabled adults, and we've taken in a total of 23 people, but we had one lady for 25 years, another lady for 18, and then two gentlemen, one for 5 years and the other one for a year. And unfortunately, COVID has struck our home, and we lost them all. So Jerry and I've kind of decided that we're going to retire for a while and see what the Lord brings our way. So
That is so, that's what I was saying earlier. It's so painful that the pandemic had really touched our lives in a way that has never happened in the past. Many people lost families, loved ones, and in your own case, those are your close family that
yes,
you lost. I mean, I can't even imagine the pain, you went through. Just looking at what you've built for so long, just go down the drain like that.
yes.
And I know that that's so painful. A lot of people don't even have the opportunity to explain what has really happened in their life. And we bring people like that to heart. I pray for you. I pray for everybody that is going through trauma, going through stress, is depressed, isolated for what has happened to them at this period. We keep all of them in our hearts and remember them in a special way this time. And coming to know you are now living and saying, God, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to turn? Believe it or not, God is already answering your prayers. You're coming here. You didn't know that you were going to be with us to talk about this. And none of us knows how God really operates in our lives. Staying open, knowing that anything can happen at any moment is that's key, and being grateful for whatever comes our way. I have learned from my friend Johannes that it is how does it, Johannes, how do you say it? It's easy. It's not. It's please on mute. What did you say? How do you put it?
It's simple. It's not always easy.
Right. So it's simple. It's not always easy, and I found that in my own life experience. It is simple. Honestly, loving God and being in the present is simple, but it's not easy because our mentality, our brainwashing kicks in, and it becomes a barrier between us and God. So I'm glad that you're here, and honestly, God is calling you to something greater than yourself, and I know it's going to be good.
I
Thanks for
agree.
sharing.
I do agree with you there. So,
Zita, I
thank
would
you.
like to thank you one more time for inviting us onto your show again. We're going to go and do a little bit of family time, but thank you again.
Sure.
And I look forward to meeting you next week. It was great to meet all of you ladies, and I'm just the voice in the
and
background.
gentlemen,
And gentlemen. Yes, honestly, great conversation. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck on
Thank
your
you.
project you're working on.
Thank you so much. We are also wrapping it up. If no one else has anything to add.
I would-
Go ahead, Johannes.
I would like to add one thing. The word I was looking for earlier was the word gratitude, and you just mentioned it too. The biggest thing we can do for ourselves and through that each other is by having more gratitude for what we do have in our lives. Whatever we focus on will expand in our lives. So there's nothing easier than being more grateful for what we do have. And we'll make the whole world a better place by the simple action. That's all.
Thank you. That's all, but that's powerful. Yes, gratitude. That attitude of gratitude, it goes a long way. Yes. Thanks so much for sharing. Hannah, you have your hand up. Unmute, please.
Okay. What is it? Johannes who just spoke?
Yeah,
What?
Johannes, yes.
Johannes, that just, it triggered me because I go around the house like I'll thank God that I have heat. Thank you, God. When I go into the shower, I have hot water. I say, thank you, God. This is what for little thing that I have electric. Thank you, God. And I've been doing this for a while now. And it's even when I go in the car, I'll say, please, God, get me there safely. And I mean, I've been in rainstorms where I said, please, God, let me get home. And I got home. So, what Joanna said before is the truth. I mean, it's what I do, and it helps me through the day to be thankful for what I have, not for what I don't have.
Exactly.
And also my story, I think I told you last week, my story of how I became a woman-owned business in a male-dominated industry after the loss of my mother, husband, and manager in 3 months in 94, how I stepped up to the plate. Several years later, I lost my siblings. And so, I mean, I'm writing my story. Not only how I became this woman in business, but how I went from feelings of weakness to strength. I mean, even though my first career was in education, and I was brought up in a very poor family. I was the only one that went to college. And my mother always said to me, be independent. So I was brought up like that. Although she said to me, you're going to marry a man and he'll take care of you for the rest of your life. So I heard two different scenarios.
Right.
But I did, and I've taught that to my children as well. And also being kindness. I'm so grateful to be a Rotarian, and the Rotary, you've heard of Rotary.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we go out, polio, water
Mhm.
projects,
Mhm.
and we do a Thanksgiving dinner every year for people who are homeless, at the church, and we prepare, a beautiful dinner for them. We have children coming in to help us, and it's just the most wonderful thing. The kindness, that's what we don't have in this world today, kindness.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so true. So true. We can't have enough of kindness. We can't have enough of gratitude. And these two things are so critical for us to live a fulfilled life. And that's, we keep praying and asking God for the grace for us to know what is important in our lives
Right.
and go for it. I know sometimes we're wired differently than as humans. What keeps us and sustains us, we tend to be antagonistic to those stuff. From eating healthy to doing everything natural, we tend to fight them as if they're gonna kill us. Yet they're the things that really will save us. Bringing awareness to it, talking about it, like we're sharing, helps a lot. So we know and recognize even when we're being forced by either environment or friends or whatever, for being pulled to that direction to say, no, this is not positive. This is not life-giving. I refuse it. And even ask God to say, I reject it. I refuse it. God, help me. Thank you so much for really bringing this up and for sharing your story. And yes, Hannah, you should write that book.
Yes.
It got to be written, because that's going to be a good source of resources for women.
Mhm.
Thank you. We have
I think your
Emmanuel
nephews. I think your
hand up.
nephews have their hand up.
Sorry?
I think your
Oh.
nephews.
Oh,
Okay.
can I say something to Zach?
Yeah,
It's
go
Zach,
ahead.
right? Zach.
Yeah.
I'm not here.
Okay. And your mom, I mean, is just wonderful. The things that you have done, really, really, it's my heart. It struck my heart. The things that you have done. In fact, I have a disabled grandchild who's on the autism spectrum. So I know about, disabilities. And I mean, people like you are the people that I want to be with, to learn from and embrace. So I say to you, just you're doing a wonderful thing, and you have done, and God is watching you.
Well, I'd love to invite you to have a conversation with us. You can get our information later on and we can help you get that book written.
Okay, that would be
You
great.
see?
That would be wonderful. Okay.
And he really will help you to do it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So,
Great.
thank you so much for the kind words.
Yeah, well, it's the truth. Definitely.
It is the truth, and we have to keep saying it. We have to keep sharing it in a fun and in a relaxed mood, and that's the only way it's going to sink. We can internalize all this truth. We're going to have to keep saying it, keep speaking it, keep claiming it, because that's our reality, and it must be part of our human making, that one is in a position to listen in a way that will bring healing and bring joy and hope in our lives. Thank you so much. And you see, that book is on its way to be written. Okay, Emmanuel, you raised your hand up.
I need some help.
I know.
I'll get it.
Help is on the way.
Okay.
Emmanuel, you want to say something?
Yes. Thank you, Zita. Thank you so much for this program. I've really been listening, and I'm so intrigued. A number of people have shared a whole lot of things, and it's just one thing I can pick out of it, because starting from Zach's mom, her love and hospitality, the spirit of hospitality that she has, and from what the last lady talked about, the Rotarian, I'm equally a Rotarian. I've been in Rotary, and one thing I've realized is that people who really care, it is just something that God gives to every man, but it all depends who is open to receive it, because the God told us that being godly and self-contentment is a great gain. But we live in a world today where everyone is just in a hurry. It's a kind of microwave lifestyle, instant, everything instantly. You want to get it right there and then. So you see the kind of challenge we're having. And when I listened to what the lady from Trinidad and Tobago said that she was doing, to empower women, the role of women, and I reflect on how my mom raised us and the impact she made in our life. The role of women and the word of women cannot be overemphasized. But then there's something I know that is common with women, because there's a say that raise a woman, you've raised a generation, because they impact the world. And I so much, appreciate all the services women are doing, even what you're doing here. You're kind of pulling people together, getting out what is in them. Because look at what Zach's mom has done for a period of 30 years. Look at that kind of service she's giving to the, the less privileged, those who are handicapped. It is the Spirit of God that put it in her to do that, to have that kind of love. Because love and kindness is not what any man can give. These are just the fruit of the Spirit. It's only God that gives it. And we know that women are such a group of people that God has endowed with this, love, kindness, and then, the ability to take care of family, the ability to impact generations is what God has endowed in women. I'm so blessed, that God has kind of brought you to begin to unfold things in your life. Some of the things you share, like our upbringing, when I was being raised, you guys being my big sisters and telling me I got to listen to you and all those things. It has so much impacted me to know how to respond, how to treat women in my life, even my wife, my daughters. So, I mean, it's not something that one can stand to, thank enough over a few hours. This is just a lifelong gratitude. And again, something we said about gratitude. You see, there's a saying that said, the attitude of gratitude will determine your altitude. That means if you have the attitude of showing gratitude, it will take you to the highest of heights. And I so much appreciate Mr. Johannes when he said it. Gratitude is one of the things that we have to show. God wants us to even show gratitude for what he's done for us. And just like he said, let us stop getting, caught up in what we don't have, but look back and thank God for what we have. Thank you also very much, because I have another conference I have to be. Thank you so much, Zita, for inviting me. And thank you all for being a part of this program. God bless you.
That was
Before-
very well said.
Before
Thank
any of you
you.
leave, Zach is going to help me tomorrow. We are going to go and pick up all the things that are needed for 137 families is what
Wow.
we will be giving out turkey dinners for. And at that time, we'll also be giving each child one gift. So if you would all pray for us, we would so
Yes.
greatly
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes, we will. We will. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. We will. You have our prayers. I am so at awe for what you're doing. I mean, this is unbelievable. Think of those families, the kind of joy that will mean for them tomorrow and even into the new year.
Mm.
Thank you so much. And God will guide you and bless you abundantly for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing with us. Thank you.
Well, everybody, Merry Christmas.
Yes.
And I
Merry
hope to talk to you all
Christmas.
next Tuesday night. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful Christmas. And please remember to come back Tuesday next week so we talk about our New Year's resolution and what that means for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank
God
you.
bless
Thank
you all.
you. God
Thanks.
bless you all.
God bless
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye
God
bye.
bless. Bye,
Bye.
Johannes.
Bye, Leslie. Bye,
Bye,
Johannes.
Zita.
Bye,
Bye.
Hannah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Lucinda,
Bye.
bye.
Bye,